Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King. We'll spend this next hour with one purpose in mind, and that one purpose is delivering the message that God is Almighty. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be is a piece of God. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be was made by God. Everything that ever happened, is happening right now, or ever will happen, was made to happen by God. God has a master plan for all time and all creation. God is Almighty. The message is brought to you by, is produced by the Society of Knowledge Incorporated. The Society is an interdenominational, religious, spiritual organization. Our members come from various different religious and spiritual backgrounds. We have various different religious and spiritual beliefs. Although we come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, there's one belief that we share. There's one piece of knowledge that we hold in common. And that's the knowledge that there is a being, by no matter what name we may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name we may have come to know that being, whether that name be God, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, Buddha, Jesus, nature, by no matter what name, we know that there is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all of the power. We know that there is indeed an almighty being. That's the reason we do this show, and the only reason we do this show, to deliver the message that that being that personally I call God, that being is indeed Almighty. Today is November the 14th, 2019. I remind you of that fact because tonight, as we are on most Thursdays, we are live. And I remind you of that fact because this show is an open discussion. It's a two-way conversation. Those of you that are watching by TV, I invite you to join the conversation. Use that telephone number that you see on your screen, and that number is 504-483-3336. Those of you that are watching by Facebook, I invite you to join the discussion by posting your comments on Facebook. If there's something that's going on in your church, your mosque, your synagogue, your masjid, your temple, your place of worship, and you want to let the world know about it, post your comments on Facebook. Call in and share your comments. Let the world know what's going on in your place of worship. If there's something that's going on in your nonprofit organization and you want to let the world know about it, post your comments on Facebook or call in and let the world know about it. More important, at least in my opinion, more important than what's going on in your place of worship, more important than what's going on in your nonprofit, if there's something that God has done for you in your life, a miracle that God has worked in your life. And I use that word literally, a miracle, because the God I'm here to tell you about is working miracles. I'm not talking about worked miracles thousands of years ago. I'm talking about November the 14th, 2019, God is working miracles. So if God has worked a miracle in your life, call in, post your testimony on Facebook. You know, it might be somebody's going through some tough times right now, whether it's tough times with health problems, financial problems, relationship problems. Maybe you went through some similar tough times and miraculously God made a way for you. Share your testimony. Hearing your testimony might be the one thing somebody needs that will strengthen them, encourage them, help them to hold on until God works a miracle in their life. So join the discussion. Brother Derek, thank you for joining. Brother Tony, thank you for joining us on Facebook. And Brother Derek, Brother Tony, if God has worked a miracle in your life, share your testimony. Or if you just want to say hello. And all of our viewers, I remind you, our Facebook viewers, to hit the like button, hit the share button. And that way, if you hit the like button, we'll make sure that we're able to contact you. And if you hit the share button, you're helping us to deliver that message, to get the word out that God is indeed Almighty. We have a full show tonight, and we have an in-studio guest. I'm not going to take any more time without, how do they say that? They say without any further ado, we want to welcome our guest, Ms. Carlotta Taylor Franks. Ms. Franks, welcome to The Message.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here.
Oh, well, look, it's great to have you here on the show. Now, you have a very interesting story. And I want to give you as much time. I don't want to take up too much time talking myself, but you have a very interesting story. And to begin, why don't you just give us a little bit general background about yourself?
Just a little general background about me. I grew up in a family where I was a victim, pretty much a victim of child abuse. And that right there was the start of just a dark, dark world for me. I went to school wearing black eyes, busted lips, broken arms, and for me, that was just a sad place to be. And before long, I was caught up in Department of Human Services, taken into child protective custody, in and out of foster care, in and out of shelters. And that was the beginning of my world just spiraling down. And before long, it was like, what is life about? You know, I didn't have anyone to really go to. It was like I was trapped and closed in. Fast forward up to about the age of 13, that's when my mom finally divorced my dad, and by then I had already attempted suicide at the age of 11, and things was just really, really hard. And it took many, many years for me to get to the forgiveness process, and it took many years for me to find myself. But I will never forget when I was almost 12 years old, when I was trying to, go through that process, should I live? I didn't even want to live anymore. I remember one of my darkest days, I remember this bright light coming to the right of me. And this warm feeling came over me, and I just knew that an angel was right there in my presence. And I knew God was telling me, it went through me, that everything was going to be all right.
Hold on a second. Let me look. Well, you was imagining this?
I know it wasn't an imagination.
You were sleeping, you were dreaming.
I was wide awake.
You was what? Well, now, don't get offended now. Don't get offended. Were you on drugs? You seen an angel and all this? Come on, talk to me now.
I'm telling you, I know I felt that it was God. I'll put it that way.
All right.
I know it was God.
All right. So you can have a personal relationship with God.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes. And this bright light was to my right, and I will never forget it. I've been remembering all these years, and I know I was awake, and I was just crying out to God, like, why is this my life? Why do I have to go through this, me and my brother? And I just didn't know, I didn't have any answers. I felt trapped, and I even thought I had been kidnapped and everything. And I felt like my parents were not my real parents, because I felt like, how could parents treat their children this way? And that's my mindset at the time.
Something, not to interrupt you, but yes to interrupt you. You know that there are others that I've spoken to that is maybe not as uncommon. So for people to really start questioning whether or not their family really is their family. Wow. Go ahead on now.
Yes, so I was there. And I would tell you what sparked that thought coming into my mind was are these my real parents? Mm-hmm. Well, we would get beat so bad that my dad, at the time, he was in a really bad place. He would take clothes and stuff the bottom of the door boards, and he would stuff the window sills to make the house soundproof, so when we would get beat, the screams wouldn't protrude through the house. So at that point, my radar was going up, and I'm trying to figure this thing out. And I was like, there's no way that these are our parents doing this. I thought I had been kidnapped, really. Right. So I lived in that, and for a long time, I was just full of hatred. I'm just going to be honest. I was full of hatred. I pretty much, at the time, I hated my dad. I even hated my mom, because even though she was not the abuser, I was like, how could a woman stand by and allow this to happen to her children? And so I had to go through life, and I grew up really, really quickly. By 12th grade, I was on my own. I was living by myself. Actually, not by myself, but living with friends out of the house. And I joined the military because I was practically homeless. All right. And before long, I was just starting to get it. You know what? My parents, especially my dad, he had his own story, and he had his own life. And although I don't agree with the methods and the way he raised me and my brother, I started to actually get it, because he had a past too. And he has his own story, which was even more worse than mine.
All right.
And so he was a young parent, 19, trying to have a family, and his dreams cut off and stopped. And it's like, okay, I know I need to have a heart of compassion and forgiveness, because if God can forgive me, I have to be able to forgive my father. And there's no way that I can move on and excel in life carrying that baggage.
Right.
you know. And so once I started to get that took years for me to understand that. I didn't get it overnight. Forgiveness was not just, okay, I love you, Dad, I forgive you, and that's it. For me, it was years of crying out to God, years of just wondering why, and me just breaking out in tears, crying just because I see a father raising his daughter up to make a goal, and as she goes and let the ball go into the goal, I just break down in tears because I'm like, why my dad didn't love me like that? Why he didn't treat me like that? Why he had to punch me in my face and kick me in my stomach and tell me I wasn't going to be nothing when I got older? I didn't understand that. But as time goes on, God really softened my heart and allowed me to see that, hey, guess what? You know, you have a story, your dad has a story, and I allowed you to go through that so you can go back and reach the people who are going through it now.
So God had a plan.
God had a plan.
Come on now. All right.
So there are children who are actually experiencing abuse. They're experiencing the same things I went through. God forbid, some of them even lose their lives during the process, but God allowed me, He spared my life so I can be here today to go out and let them know, hey, listen, there is hope for you.
All right, now we've heard the beginning of the story.
Yes.
So now let's hear the rest of the story, where you are right now. Tell us about it.
Where I am right now? Well, by the grace of God, I am a certified National John Maxwell speaker, trainer, coach. That's one of my latest accomplishments by the grace of God. I'm also, I have a master's degree in science and leadership, a bachelor's in social services, and I'm now pursuing my PhD in advanced human behavior. So I'm really excited about that. I am the founder and executive director of a nonprofit called Somebody Step In. And what we do is we mentor and we coach and we help foster youth and aged out foster youth in their next step processes, letting them know that they're not alone. We're here with you every step of the way.
You know, just to slow you down for a minute, recently that's been getting a little bit more attention. And if you could just spend a couple of minutes on that aged out foster youth. Tell us about that. Well,
what's going on is aged out foster youth is really getting a lot of attention, and I'm really glad it is. I'm really glad it is because what's happening is we have, our children are in the system. And I just left where I was a keynote speaker at a luncheon, pretty much talking about the same thing as I was on my way here. But children are in the system. They're abused, they're abandoned, they're beaten, they're scared, they're afraid. And the system is not, we can agree that the system is not a operating system. It's nothing to be, it's nothing to say, okay, they're in the system and they're going to be good. They're in a system and they're deprived of a lot of things. They're being treated very differently than their peers, and they don't get the love. They don't get the nurture. A lot of these foster parents, they're using them for sex trafficking. They're abusing them and beating them. Oftentimes, children are leaving homes where they're getting minor abuse and they're being placed in homes with foster youth and they're getting treated even worse. And so by the time they, society and the system catches up to trying to do good for them, they're aging out. But guess what happens when they get ready to age out? They don't have anybody to help them. Who's there?
Sister Candace, thank you for joining us on Facebook. But that because I know a little bit about the term and because you're very familiar with the term, what do you mean by age out?
Aged out means they've been in the system, and now they've reached the age where they have to be broken away from that system. They no longer receive the money or the help or the transportation or the aid, the medical. They no longer get any of that, especially housing. Okay,
let's get into the real nitty gritty of it, the down and dirty. That foster care. Okay, that means that. Tell us what that means.
That means foster care alone means they're placing you into a home. Most of the time it's temporary. And they're going to take care of you.
Okay, the parents, the foster parents.
And pretty much help the foster child get back with the foster parent. That's the end game. It's supposed to be designed to separate, okay, we're going to take the children, place them in custody, we're going to take care of all of their needs.
Take them from the biological
parents. And then we're going to help, allegedly supposed to help the parents get their stuff together if we can, and then we're going to put the families back together. That's the idea. That's why foster care was created.
So as a part of that foster care, the foster parents are receiving some type of stipends.
Benefits, yes, they're receiving money, stipends, they're receiving and some of them use that as a way to make money.
Okay, but then there's a point with a child, that a child reaches a certain age,
yes,
and they're no longer eligible to
right.
be in foster care.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about, aged out?
Aged out, and yes,
right.
and oftentimes, guess what the foster parent does? Close the door on them. They're no longer welcome back. The money's no longer coming, so there's no longer a relationship.
Right. So,
and that is very, very drastic, and it causes a lot of hurt. It leads to foster youth to homelessness, slipping through the cracks, being on jail, sex trafficking. That's a big thing now going in foster care, and winding up in jail, lost cause, on drugs, things like that.
All right, so this is an issue, an ill in our society that you're addressing through somebody step in.
Yes, sir.
Right. And if somebody, if our viewers wants a little bit more information about Somebody Step In, how do they get that?
Yes, Somebody Step In is a national nonprofit organization, and basically you can just reach out to me. I would love to be able to talk to you. You can email somebodystepin@gmail.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me regarding Somebody Step In. somebodystepin@gmail.com.
All right. Okay, so now that's Somebody Step In. You're also a published author.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
All right. So No More Flinching is the name of my book. But
let's see if we can pick that up, and let's see if we can get the camera. If the camera will be able to pick that up. Let's see. All right. Okay, yeah, I think we've got a shot of it. All right.
Yes,
so
sir.
this is your book.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about it.
No More Flinching. It also has 5 steps to overcoming adversity. And this book is a memoir. It's a highlighting high points about my life, about me being in and out of foster care, about the treatment I received. And I just throw some things out there at you. I was in one foster home where we were forced, me and my brother, we were forced to eat hog slop. That was our food. And just talking about some of the treatment that we received and some of the abuse that I went through. And then I take you through some high points in my life, even some low points in my life. But the most important thing, I show you how to overcome that. So it doesn't matter what you've been through, you can reach beyond your breaking points in life.
Yeah, no matter what you've been through.
No matter what you've been through, you can reach beyond your breaking points in life, and God can make it. He can turn what the devil meant for bad. God can turn it around for your good. And so this right here just outlines all of those steps, and then I equip you with ways that you can use to overcome your own adversity and excel in life as well.
All right, Sister Franks, we have Sister Carolyn has joined us on Facebook. Sister Carolyn, Sister Franks is in here sharing with us some of her testimony, some of her inspiring, not stories, but inspiring history, what she's been through and where she is right now. And speaking about where you are right now, in addition to No More Flinching and Somebody Steps In, let's share a little bit about walking in your purpose.
Yes, I'm all about walking in your purpose. Me, for myself, I found my niche around the age of 23. And my niche, what I would say, was law enforcement. And that's something I did, and it's something I was good at. Before law enforcement, I would quit a job between 3 days and 3 weeks. You would not see
I know
me
some
after
people
3
like
weeks.
that.
I'm
Right.
talking about, I went through about 30 different jobs.
Right.
But when I found law enforcement, or when law enforcement found me, it was like the thing I did with my eyes closed. I loved it. I love being that protector, the defender. I'm going to make sure that your house doesn't get broken into, or I'm there to protect you. It just second nature to me. And before long, I excelled in it. After about 4 years, I was a child protection detective, and I did really well in that. And see how God turned that thing right on around. I was once the child that was being abused, and now I'm the detective that's investigating cases and ensuring that children are not going through that same process, and investigating cases and bringing people to justice that were abusing and neglecting and assaulting children. And from there, I went on and was a homicide investigator. And I'm in the swing of things. I'm looking at my law enforcement career as being that career that I never thought I would walk away from law enforcement. And after being a homicide investigator, I then went on to be a federal police officer. And then after a few years of that,
I don't have any warrants, so I'm all right.
Okay, good.
All right.
After a few years after that, it was like, okay, Carlotta, what are you doing? I know you're doing your thing, but why do you think, and this is God just talking to me, why do you think I brought you through all of the abuse in and out of foster care? they're babies. I've worked cases where babies have gotten hit in the head one time and lost their complete life. I've been hit in the head with boards and brooms and punches and all kind of things, and I'm still here. And I don't have any physical elements to show you that I've been abused right now today. So God allowed me to go through all that, and He put it in my spirit. Like, I allowed you to go through that, to help, to reach back and help those who've done that. And so it just hit me. One day I was driving in my car, and I turned the corner, and I looked out to my left, and there was a graveyard right there. I looked at that, and then it was just immediately God spoke to me. Are you going to go there with what I gave you?
All right. Come on.
And I was like, Lord, that was good enough for me. I don't need a catastrophe to happen. A whisper is good enough for me. And before long, it was a few months later, I was turning in my 2 weeks notice. Never been written up, laid off, or fired from any job, any position. And I put in my 2 weeks notice, and I never looked back.
All right. Look at that. We say walking in your purpose.
And so I inspire anyone.
You're going to hear me using that on the show.
Yes, I inspire anyone. Do what you're here to do. Everybody has an assigned calling. If I just revert back to the Bible, and I like to use that because I was reading John the other day, well, daily now, and it talks about how, Jesus came, and He came to be about His Father's business, right? And He had an assignment. Well, guess what? We all have an assignment.
All right.
No matter what religion you believe in, we all have an assignment. We're here for a specific reason. Sometimes we can get caught up in our little hobbies and what we like to do, but let's just make sure that we are walking in our purpose, what God put us on this earth to do. And once you do that, God's going to take care of everything else. It's like I'm walking out on water. I'm walking out on faith. I don't know where my next check is going to come from, but I know and trust in God, and He's going to make a way for me.
God got a plan.
Yes, absolutely.
Got a plan. All right, steps are ordered.
Yes, sir.
Come on now. All right. Look, Sister Stacy, thank you for joining us on Facebook. But if someone wanted to contact Carlotta Taylor Franks, I know you've told us about one method. How can our viewers contact you?
You can contact me by phone, via text. Text is always best at 601-460-4099. You can also email me at CDT, as in Carlotta DeReese Taylor, but CDT Group, LLC, @gmail.com.
All right. And viewers, as always, if you didn't get that down, those of you that are watching by Facebook, you can always go back to this show and get that information. Those of you that are watching by TV, you can always give me a call, and you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That number that you see on your screen right now. If nobody is there to answer, a machine will answer it. Leave your message, and somebody will get back to you and give you the contact information for Ms. Franks. We have maybe about 5 more minutes, Ms. Franks, and I want to make sure that, well, first of all, it was great having an opportunity to meet your husband. Your husband traveled down with you today, so that was good. And having a supportive spouse, that makes all the difference in the world.
It does. Absolutely.
So how God has blessed you.
Yes.
Right? Lord, God has blessed you.
Amen. Amen.
And so we want to give a shout out to Mr. Franks.
Yes.
And if there's any, let's say we got maybe about 4 minutes. So I'm going to let you take these 4 minutes. Anything that we've missed, particularly this inspiration, I don't think we really spoke too much on that you're an inspirational speaker, the topics. Why don't you share that with us?
Well, a few topics. I pretty much speak about purpose, and I speak to inspire. And I'm also versatile, so I'm not just in the foster care industry. I can speak on business, I can speak on anything, but most importantly, dealing with purpose and helping people understand that you too can overcome your adversity. That's one of the main things. And I also want to say that you can also reach out to me via my website, carlottataylor.com, www.carlottataylor.com, and also No More Flinching is also available. You can order it directly from me, and I will autograph and sign your copy copy before I ship it out. It's also available on Amazon and Kindle, and soon to be available on Audible. But mainly I speak to inspire. I speak to uplift, to aspire, and to let you know that you too can overcome your breaking points in life. Right. And that's pretty much the goal. Now, I'm also equipped and I am skilled enough to speak to my target audience. So I do those as well.
All right. And that Carlotta Taylor, why don't you spell that out? Okay, why don't you spell that out for our viewers?
Absolutely. That's CarlottaTaylor.com.
All right. Okay, so we make sure we have 2 T's in that Carlotta.
That's right.
All right, so 2 T's. All right. Now we've maybe about 2 more minutes, and not to dwell on the past, but sometimes they say you never miss your water until your well runs dry.
Wow.
Now, it sounds like you had a pretty dry well
I did.
at the beginning. All right?
Absolutely.
So you're kind of appreciating this water that you have now.
Praise the Lord, yes.
And I know that there had to be, and as you've already spoken on, there were some times where you didn't know how you were going to see your way through.
And I would say the number one thing that was the cause of my well running dry, it was all in my mind. Because I carried around what happened with me, and I replayed scenes over and over, and I just became a victim to my circumstances. And I allowed those things to infiltrate my DNA and become what I thought of myself. So when someone would tell me, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're not going to be anything when you get older, I took that as fact, and I believed it. And I would not allow myself to think positive or think that I can or I'm worthy, I am enough. I was not allowing myself to even think that or believe that. But once I changed my thinking and I started to release the pressure and get it off my chest, really changed my thinking and allow God, to come in and just meditate and just be grateful and thankful and appreciate what I do have instead of worrying about what happened to me. I was able to take a 180 and start walking in another direction. All
right. That's viewers. That's true inspiration. And we talk about on this show, we talk about testimonies, and you are hearing a living, breathing testimony this evening. And one of the things that's that struck me, and you heard me take and stop, and I did get a little bit flippant for a second there, a little levity, but that's when you spoke about your personal encounter with God.
Yes.
It's some folks nowadays that really don't understand, really don't know that you can deal directly.
Yes.
With the Almighty.
Yes.
Directly. So that indeed is a blessing. And sometimes folks might feel a little bit shy about speaking on that, but you've come out and you're testifying.
Yes.
Really testifying about that relationship. And what's so great and so fantastic about it, something you said maybe about 2 minutes ago, that once you allowed God to just go head on and take over, how that pressure was relieved off of you. So, we've had viewers, we've had tonight some great testimony, and I want to encourage you when you run into somebody that's been through it. We can talk about it all day long, but when you run into someone that's been through it and come out the other side, and just looking at Miss Franks, listening to her, it would be kind of hard to understand what she has been through. So it may be someone that right now that's going through what she went through. Maybe you yourself are going through what she went through. And her testimony tonight brings hope. If she went through it and has come out on the other side. Now, I don't know her personally, but I will sit here and say that there's nothing special about her why God would bless her and can't bless you. If God could lay his hands on her and bless her and bring her through, God can do the same for you. I want to thank you, Ms. Franks. Thank you for coming in, sharing your testimony with our viewers, and I'm hoping that you and your husband are invited to come down. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary on December 7th.
Yes.
Come on down and share with us And viewers, every now and then all of us need a little pick-me-up, a little boost. And I really do think that getting a copy of this publication, that may be the boost that can help you. You might be going through something, sitting in your home by yourself, and maybe picking up this publication might be the boost that you need to just give you a little bit of encouragement. Again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to having you back here on The Message.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
We're going to take a break right now. And when we come back, we'll have our announcements. We'll go through the regular order of our show. And we may even get to our words of inspiration this evening. So we're going to take a quick break, maybe about 90 seconds, but we'll be right back here on The Message.
Before I had children, I always imagined what he would be like.
I'd always imagined I'd be the one he would turn to.
I never imagined there might come a day when
She would argue with me constantly.
Or that I wouldn't have all the answers.
If being the parent you always imagined feels impossible, the Boys Town National Hotline can help. Call 1-800-448-3000 anytime, day or night. The Boys Town National Hotline to help you parent the way you'd always imagined.
Thinking of cooking? Think of your heart. I'm Mon, short for mono unsaturated fat.
And I'm Polly, unsaturated fat. We're the Better Fat Sisters. We help lower your risk of heart disease.
Have some of the foods we're in.
Like fish, nuts, and vegetable oils.
That's right, sis. Eat less of those foods our bad fats brothers, saturated and trans, are in.
They'll break your heart.
Remember, we're better, but we're fats too.
We all have 9 calories per gram.
So go easy on the portions.
And spend more time with us.
The Better Fat Sisters. Be kinder to your heart.
If human achievement can be determined not by speed or strength, but by character, then it's easy to see who the most amazing athletes really are. Be a fan of dignity, acceptance, and the human race. Volunteer, coach, or compete in Special Olympics. Special Olympics. Be a fan.
People trapped by drug or alcohol addiction often feel like there's no hope, no way out. But for every lock, there's a key. And if you have a problem, it's good to know there are real solutions to help you get free. For drug or alcohol treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
When a soldier is injured, their whole life can change instantly and profoundly. A non-profit organization called Salute America's Heroes wants your help to make their recovery easier.
The coalition helped us when I first got home by helping us get our bills paid.
When they told us that we were getting a house, I was so thankful.
Thank you for giving me the ability to believe again.
To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
America is turning over a new leaf, the Smart Way leaf. Smart Way from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is changing the way America drives. Look for the Smart Way leaf to help you identify environmentally friendlier cars and trucks. Smart Way certified cars and trucks are more fuel efficient, produce fewer greenhouse gases, and can save you money. And when you're helping the environment, it's a nice reflection on you. Smart Way, because it's time America turned over a new leaf. Follow the leaf. Go to www.epa.gov/smartway.
Jazz was created in Louisiana. It's reality, man. Letting people know how you feel. You can't talk about jazz without talking about Louis Armstrong. He's the beginning of it, the middle, and the end of it. I love Frenchman Street. It's like you're being bombarded with this culture. And these guys play with such passion, they make you want to perform. Come check it out for yourself. I'm Terrence Blanchard, and this is my Louisiana.
Real seniors, real concerns.
The economy is my concern. Will we outlive our money? Medication.
Rent is really more than some of us can afford. You do without a lot.
And nobody comes to tell us what our rights are, what we can fight for. If I get any kind of information that would help other seniors, I will let them know.
For information, contact the Senior Citizens League at 1-800-333-8725 or seniorsleague.org.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world without their smiles or their laughter? A world where children don't play or sing or dream or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we can't imagine a world without children. That's why we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children everywhere. Diseases like cancer, pediatric AIDS, and sickle cell. And we won't stop until every child is cured and every disease is defeated. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, call now or log on to our website, stjude.org.
Welcome back to The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King. We'll spend this next half hour, actually we only have about 23 minutes left. We will spend this next 23 minutes the same way we did the first half an hour, and that's delivering the message that God is Almighty. That was a very dynamic, dynamite, fantastic guest that we had in the studio this evening, Sister Carlotta Taylor Franks. Inspiring words about what she went through and how God brought her through what she went through. Very, very much inspired. I thank her for being on the show and sharing that testimony with us. And I encouraging all of you to let her words, let her testimony be something that will help strengthen you. And I pray that her testimony is indeed a blessing that will help encourage you and strengthen you. I know it touched me. And as I said, one of the things that I picked up on, and I tried to bring that out during her appearance, during her interview, was that personal relationship that she had and has with God Almighty. Sometimes, and we've spoken about that on this show before, and I'm sorry, there it is. I'm just a little bit slow today. I've spoken about that on this show, that sometimes when we base our relationship with God, when we base that upon a book, or when we base that upon a preacher or a priest or a minister or a rabbi, when we base our relationship with God on anything else, sometimes that relationship can get shaken. Because if our relationship is based upon a book, whether it be the Quran, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, whether it be any book, and we start finding out that that book ain't exactly the way we thought it was, our relationship could start getting shaky. We base our relationship on our religious leader. Again, whether that be a reverend, a rabbi, an imam, a preacher, whether it be any religious leader. And we find out that that religious leader has been doing some things that really aren't right or in our judgment is not right, our relationship could start getting a little shaky. But when you have that direct relationship with Almighty God, when you realize that, yes, this is not some hallucination that I'm having. No, this isn't that weed that's smoking. No, that's talking to me. No, it's not that Jack Daniels that's talking to me. Yes, I have that direct relationship with God. When you realize that, when you know that, when God blesses you with that knowledge, then that's a faith that can't be shaken. That's a faith that will let you say, whatever's going to be is going to be, and I'll deal with it, that God can bring me through. That's a faith that'll let you say, like old Daniel, throw me in there. You know, you throw me in there with them lions. I ain't afraid of them lions. You know, what them Hebrew boys say, what? Shadrach, Meshach, what? A bad Negro said what? What? Fire furnace, what? Don't worry about that. When you have that faith, understand what I'm saying. When you have that faith, you can walk through that fiery furnace. You can walk through, wait a minute, what? Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Understand what it said now? It didn't say, ain't no evil going to happen to me. It said, I ain't afraid of it. Bring it on. You have that faith. And that faith coming through having that personal relationship. See, ain't nobody got to tell me about it. I ain't got to read about it. I got that. I got firsthand. It ain't. Look. Understand what I'm saying? It's not hearsay. I have that personal relationship, and that, understand what I'm saying now. That in itself is a blessing, and I thank God that I've been blessed to have that personal relationship. That personal relationship. No matter what happens, look, I know God's got my back, God's got my front, God's got my side. I ain't going this way or that way unless it's all part of God's plan. What this? I told Sister Franks, I said, look, Sister Franks, I'm going to take that line. I'm going to take that line. What you say? What's it? I have it written down there. It says, walking in your purpose. Walking in your purpose. I told her I was going to take it now. When you're walking in your purpose and you know that's your purpose, you ain't worried about it. You see, I might be going to the Superdome and you might see me start walking, heading to Jefferson Parish. And you say, well, Brother King, you going to the Superdome. The Superdome is that way, but you walking that way. And I tell you, look, man, look, I know what a Superdome is, but I'm walking in my purpose. See, there's a purpose, a reason why I'm walking in that direction. See, I got to go that way because there's somebody over there that I need to see before I get to the Superdome. Walking in your purpose. See, I told I was going to take that. All right, let's go on. Let's go on. Sister Jennifer, thank you. Sister Oliela, thank you for joining us on Facebook. All right. We have our announcements, and make sure we can pull this up on Facebook now. We have our announcements, and then after our announcements, we will have our religious spiritual study. The hour is getting kind of short, so I don't think we're really going to have anything on that tonight. Then we're going to go into our words of inspiration, be coming out of the book of Exodus chapter 8, verses 20 to 32. We will get to that tonight. We're moving along pretty good. There are announcements. That's our main website. Okay, our main website, as you see there, and that's www.godisalmighty.org. I invite you to go to that website, and there are links. There are links to all of our social media outlets, our platforms. We have a blog, we have a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Go to our main website, again, www.godisalmighty.org, and there are links. All you have to do is just hit the link, and you'll take you to our different sites. Rock of Ages Ministries International, Apostle Ronnie Bailey. doing some great work. And every week I see there's some posts that Apostle Bailey puts things that they've been doing. Apostle Bailey, let me share a little something with you. Apostle Bailey goes throughout, okay, mainly throughout Louisiana, but internationally, and you'll see different relationships that Apostle has built up in the Rock of Ages Ministries International. There are a lot of different churches that get together and fellowship with Apostle. So go to that website and you'll see what I'm talking about. You know, there are links to videos that they do. www.ronniebailey.com. The New Orleans Peacekeepers. You know, I heard something just this week, you know, about violence. And matter of fact, let me back up Facebook people. New Orleans Peacekeepers. That phone number in the New Orleans area, 504-500-1706. If you know somebody that's having a dispute out in the community, you can give the Peacekeepers a call, and they'll actually come out and help. It's not a government organization. Okay, these are just citizens, just like you and me. It was organized by the Nation of Islam, minister in the effort here in New Orleans. Minister Willie Muhammad with the mosque out in New Orleans East helped organize the local chapter of the Peacekeepers. But you don't have to be a member of the nation. You could be any religion, no religion, and go out and work with them. I went out and worked with them, with the Peacekeepers. And you know, the times that we have right now, folks are so quick to pick up a gun to try to settle a dispute. And when you pick up a gun, you shoot somebody, you can't take that bullet back. Peacekeepers doing some great work out there. I encourage you to go out and support them, support the work that the Peacekeepers is doing. In the New Orleans area, you can call 311 between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. for free smoke detectors. You know, the weather has changed. You know, we had a real cold spell last night. It's still kind of cold tonight. People are firing up them space heaters. You know, we don't want to die when it could be prevented. You know, so many folks die in fires, and they don't die from the fire. They die from inhaling the smoke. And if you had a smoke detector, that could give you a warning, and you can get out the house before you burn up or before you inhale too much smoke. If you don't have a smoke detector in the New Orleans area, call 311. They'll actually give you one for free and bring it to your house and install it. You know, if you do have a smoke detector, then check your batteries. It does you no good to have a smoke detector sitting up there on your ceiling, but it's not working because you don't have batteries. So check your batteries in your smoke detectors. If you don't have a smoke detector, get one. It could save a life. Instead of going to the club and buying 2 or 3 drinks and spending that $20, $25, take that $20, $25, go get your smoke detector and save your life. Okay, you get a drink later on, because if you're dead because you're burned up, then the drink ain't gonna help you no way. So go ahead, take that money, get your smoke detector. Please check your vehicle's back seats for babies. We have babies, we talk about this in the summer, with babies that are dying from heat stroke and heat exhaustion, being left in a hot car. Well, babies die during the winter because they freeze to death. Okay, so if you have a baby in a car and it gets down to 30 degrees, the water freezes at 32 degrees. So when you start getting down into the upper 20s, you know, the low 30s, a baby could die. Okay, if a baby's left back there for a couple of hours, baby could die. So check your vehicle's back seats for babies. Make sure you don't, and that's tragic, leave a baby in the back seat. 2020 has census jobs that are available. You can apply online right now. That's the web address there, 2020census.gov/jobs. That's the phone number, 1-855-JOB-2020. Excellent pay, flexible hours. Those are temporary jobs. You know, as I said, you know, times starting to get kind of tight right now. We're getting around those holidays. You know, got all these expenses coming up. Go make you some money. Make you some extra money. All right, vote. Man, this is so important. This coming Saturday, November the 16th, the Louisiana gubernatorial and general election. We're going to elect a governor here in the state of Louisiana. There are local elections. Some parishes have sheriffs on the ballot. Another very important position that's on the ballot in the state of Louisiana, and that's a Louisiana Supreme Court justice is going to be elected. So there are some very, very, very important positions that are going to be filled. And to find out more about the candidates, go to sos.la.gov. That's sos.la.gov. That's the Louisiana Secretary of State's website, and you can go there. You can find out whether you're registered or not. You can find out where your polling place is, where you actually should go to vote. But again, it's important. And I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm just asking that you please vote. And when you go out and vote, take somebody with you. Parents, take your children with you. Get into the habit of taking your children to the voting booth with you. Even though they can't vote, when they see you voting, that becomes a part of their life. That becomes something natural in their lives. So when they reach 18, actually when they reach 17, they'll go out and register themselves, because that becomes a habit. It becomes natural that this is what we do in our family. So November 16th, this coming Saturday, go out and vote. Brother Antonio, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Brother Antonio, if you're in Louisiana, please go out and vote. All of our Facebook viewers, I encourage you to hit that like button and hit that share button. You heard me talking to Sister Franks. Next month, December the 7th, the Society of Knowledge Incorporated, the organization that sponsors this show, that produces this show, the society we are having our 40th anniversary celebration. That's right, we have been in legal existence for 40 years. November the 7th, 1979 is when our Articles of Incorporation were issued by the state of Louisiana. So 40 years, officially 40 years, and we're celebrating that December the 7th, 2019. The celebration will start at 2 o'clock. It'll go through 6 o'clock, and that will be at Nola Palms Event Hall in the city of New Orleans. That's 5961 Bullard Avenue, number 7. If you want more information, you see the phone number. That's 504-821-3221. Come on out and have a good time with us. You know, we're going to have, we will have some speakers. You heard Sister Franks. Hopefully that she'll be able to make it down and be able to share a little bit of inspiration with us. We will have various ministers, various religious leaders that will offer some words of inspiration, some words of encouragement. But we'll also have just overall fun. Understand what I'm saying? You know, not just sitting down, listening to a whole lot of people talk, a whole lot of people preach. You know, we'll have some inspiring music. We have some drummers that are coming down from out of Lafayette. We have, Brother Reed, who is a saxophone player. He's agreed to come and fellowship with us and have fun with us. You know, so we have other things that we're lining up. It's going to be a fun time. Okay, there'll be food there and drinks. You know, come on down. Everything is free. It's really a party. It's a birthday party. It's the 40th anniversary birthday party, 40th anniversary celebration, December 7th, 2019. All right. All right. Our religious spiritual study, Prove All Things Hold Fast, that which is good, coming out of First Book of Thessalonians. We only have maybe about 5-6 minutes left in the show, so we're not going to have any religious spiritual, but we are going to have some words of inspiration. Now, words of inspiration will be coming out of the book of Exodus, chapter 8, and we're going to start in verse 20. And the Lord said unto Moses, Rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. You know, now I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna stop right there because I want to take Sister Frank's. Words again, and let me for our Facebook, I want to pull our Facebook viewers. All right, I want to take Sister Frank's words again, and that's walking in your purpose. Okay. In Exodus, we're reading about Moses. And let me just share something with you. Now, come on. You heard Sister Franks talk about what she went through. Okay, the path that was laid out for her to walk. Okay? Now, think about Moses. Okay? Moses, boy, you look how the Spirit is working. You heard Sister Franks talk about how, she went through life and would have moments when she would doubt that her parents were really her parents. Well, think about Moses. Okay, Moses was raised by somebody that really was not his mother. Okay, and see, when we read the Bible, we know they always talk about, Pharaoh's daughter raised Moses. Okay, so that's cool. So Moses is sitting on there thinking, all right, this is my mama. Okay, this Egyptian, but I'm Hebrew, but I don't know that. This is my mama. But look, the Bible don't never tell us anything about, wait a minute, who did Moses think his daddy was? Yeah? The Bible don't tell us. So I could just see Moses right now saying, I'm living good because my mama is Pharaoh's daughter, so she's a princess, so, I'm part of the royal family. But he got to be walking around saying, wait a minute now, all these other children got a mama and a daddy. Now, where my daddy? Where my daddy? And I know that there had to have been some folks in the background shoo-shooing. He ain't really, that ain't really your mama. I know. Look what Moses had to go through. Understand? See, now at the time, when Moses got a little bit older and he was walking and he saw that Egyptian mistreating that Hebrew, and then something came up in Moses' spirit and Moses killed that Egyptian. He fled. He was a felon. He was a murderer. He ran into the desert. All them things that Moses, why do I have such empathy? Why do I feel so strongly in support of these Hebrews? He might not have understood it at the time, but what Moses was doing, he was walking in his purpose. You got a purpose. I got a purpose. Sister Franks had a purpose. When you know God, you find peace with all your steps because you realize, you understand that you are walking in your purpose. You realize that you are following God's master plan. My prayer, as I close out, my prayer in this upcoming week, no matter whatever it is that you have to go through, that you understand, that you know that you are walking in your purpose. You understand and you know that God is indeed Almighty. No matter what steps you have to take in this upcoming week, my prayer is that God blesses you and yours with peace.